Hello Kindred, editing Kiri here to give a little context and background to the clips you're about to see. June 2nd, I did a film shoot for a cover of Anything For You by Ludo, which I'm working on editing together. It's going to take a long time, unfortunately, to get that out. But also on that date, if you follow my Instagram and Twitter, you know I proposed to Angelique. It was very exciting. A lot happened. Everyone was in on it. It was great. But I wanted to share that process and story with you because holy cow, it has caused so much stress and anxiety, not just over the past month, but the past 6 months of when I first started planning it seriously. And I wasn't able to share any of it with you because I had to keep it a secret. And I feel like I want to share this whole story with you. So back in June of 2018, Angelique and I had been dating for about 2 months, and we got in this habit of telling each other about the imps in our heads. Not imp in my head, who is a great member of the Curiosity community and is amazing, but imposter syndrome, that little voice that's like, man, you can't do that, all that jazz, including the ones that were expressing fears regarding our relationship based on our own past traumas, all that. It's all about communication. And on June 2nd, last year, she had shared with me, because we'd had a very sweet moment, we were just hanging out in her room, and she shared with me that her little voice of doubt had been like, she's probably just gonna be sick of you in a year anyway. And I remember hearing that and thinking, I can't imagine my life without you now that I've met you. I don't remember if I told her that exact phrase, but I knew in that moment, I want to marry this girl. Which, when I met her, honestly, I had this feeling of, this is someone who's going to change my world. I think I knew I loved her before we started dating, actually. But that was the first moment it really struck me of, no, I genuinely want to marry this woman and spend the rest of my life and every life after if I can with her. So I made a little note in my phone calendar. She saw me do it. At the time I had put in, tell Angelique you're madly in love with her. And she laughed, and that was the thing that was logged back in my brain and in my phone. Didn't really think of it much after that. And then we went to Florida a few months later and visited her mom and her stepfather down there. I think I mentioned this in our couples tag, but there is a song that I sing to her when she's feeling particularly stressed, and it's Anything For You by Ludo. While we were down there, Angelique was like, sing her the song that you sing to me. And it was on our drive back to the airport to be dropped off, and I sang it. And if you're not familiar with the song, there's a lyric within the chorus that is the best story I could ever tell is the one where I'm growing old with you. And I love this song because it's essentially a world hopper's love song. And as a storyteller and someone who really likes to immerse themselves in roles and different worlds and a self-proclaimed world hopper, this was kind of perfect for me. And Angelique's mother had made the comment of, wow, this sounds like a wedding song. And then my brain went, it does sound like a wedding song, doesn't it? When the time comes to eventually propose, because I knew I wanted to at least wait a year of dating, just for sanity's sake. But I knew somehow I was going to incorporate that song. Fast forward to this past January. We were driving somewhere together, and I had a playlist going, and that song came on, and I was singing along to it. And Angelique actually made the comment of, you should do a cover of this song. And I stopped, and something went, I should do a cover of this song. That would be a lot of fun. Going, all right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a video about, and then I'll propose to her at the end of it or something. Fast forward to about another week. We're driving, and it comes on again, and I just nonchalantly, because she had helped direct the Baby It's Cold Outside video, and she really enjoyed it. It had not been quite the process we wanted because our time was very truncated, and it ended up being not the final product she was happy with because of that truncated process. And I thought, oh, this would be a nice sort of engagement gift. And so I posited the idea of, so if I do a cover of this, would you want to direct the music video? And she lit up and she was like, that'd be really fun, actually. And I'm like, cool, cool. Plotting as I'm going, all right, here we go. Fast forward to on our way to LARP, which was February, and I just sort of threw out there, hey, when we do the music video for this, would you maybe be okay with being in a small part of it? Mostly because I've sung this song to you so many times, I genuinely can't imagine singing it to anyone else. And she kind of was like, yeah, sure, if that's what you want, I'd be down with that. Bear in mind, like, months ago, we'd already talked about comfort level regarding like proposal styles and whatnot. I had called dibs on proposing at some point before this. I can't remember. Or maybe it was after, I'm not sure. I was like, I get to propose first. You can propose later if you want, but I get to propose first. And then I gave her a date well after when I knew I was gonna do it. I gave her a date of after Labyrinth Masquerade, which is an event we do every year. And I said, you can propose to me after then, like that's your date. If you want to start planning now, that's totally fine, but it has to be after then. And so she was like, I kept trying to guess of when, but when we got to the February LARP, if you saw pictures of it, you will know that Kaza and Arya got married, which was not planned at all. I swear, this was something that happened completely by random happenstance, but I'm so grateful to Twin Mask for this weirdly convenient moment, because since that happened, in February game, we have a day called Lover's Day, which is their version of Valentine's Day, and this spell we performed for divination to get the Fae Court to help us was sealed essentially with a wedding, and that made it a more potent spell. And so since our characters were already a very strongly aligned couple, that's why our characters got married. And I'm actually wearing Arya's spring wedding ring right now. At some point I do need to do a lookbook for the LARP characters and talk about that costuming. I have so much footage that I need to edit and things I want to do. I'm very excited. But because of that event, Angelique made a comment of, oh, we should probably get our characters rings, huh? And I smiled and I was like, yeah, we should do that. So when we got back, I actually have a ring sizer. I've had it for years, like long before I met Angelique, and it was for completely innocuous reasons. Smaller fingers, my ring finger is actually like a 4.5, which I found out because I would go to the store and all of the pre-made rings just would always be a bit too big for any of my fingers. Sometimes they would fit on my index, but even then they'd be a little bigger, or maybe they'd fit on my thumb. So I bought that forever ago, being like, I want to know what my ring size is so I can actually properly order a ring. So I had that on hand, and like I measured and I got her ring size and I got my ring size, and then I did a little bit of shopping on Etsy. So once I had that, I reached out to a friend of mine who designs jewelry, and totally is amazing. He makes so many things. Him and his fiance are just brilliant. But it was at an afters event for LARP, I think. I was sitting next to him and he was talking about making his and his fiance's rings, and I had this moment of, oh, really? How much does that typically run? Because Angelique had gotten up and gone to the bathroom, and we talked a tiny bit, and then she came back and was like, shh. And he had this moment of, oh, and I'm like, shh, quiet. So then he and I began plotting, and he was really great. I told him some themes I wanted. I met with him at a little coffee shop. He showed me some sketches. We talked through them. We made adjustments. Also asked if I was okay with 3D printed or handcrafted, and based on what I wanted, I was totally fine with 3D printed. I know custom jewelry design is pricier and I would much rather give that money to an artist that I know and trust than some random company. Design cost plus product ended up being a total, I think, of $600. I made multiple payments. He let me do it in a scale. It was great. That mostly went through to design cost because he, pay your artists. And then everything else, my materials were pretty inexpensive. And one of the reasons I really was drawn to this option was I could make it very personal to us, but also if anything happens to it, I own that design. So I can literally reach out to him and go, hey, I will pay for materials. Can we get this reprinted? If anything happens to that ring, boom. It's still really special, but it's also strangely replaceable, if that makes sense. And as you'll be able to see, a weird amount of work went into this. So due to our spiritual backgrounds, I made sure that I wanted the triquetra featured. You can also see, you have to know you're looking for it, which if I could tweak the design a bit, I'd maybe put them closer together so you could see. But the main settings are a triple moon goddess symbol. Inset in that is a moonstone. Moonstones have a connection with hope and enhancing feminine energies, intuition, sensitivity, bringing strong energies of abundance to your life. And I realize you can't quite see the blue of the sapphire, but I like the deepness of it. It's inset behind the triquetras, and blue sapphire relates to healing, and it's very popular in Reiki. It's a stone of love, commitment, and fidelity. And I believe both also relate to communication, so it was this very, very fitting and thought out of stone selection. And it's not super easy to see, but there are 23 tines holding in the moonstone. And as you know, if you've seen the couples tag, 23 is a very important day to us. It's the day we met, it's the day of our first date, it's the day of our first real kiss, and it's the day we do. It's been our day of this is date night day. If we can swing it, we're hoping to also have our wedding on a 23rd, but we'll see. Because unfortunately that relates to what's available venue-wise, cost, and that's a whole nother video, you guys, dealing with that monstrosity of the wedding industry. Then I had it, when he gave it to me, I'd had it for about, it was in my purse at all times for 3 weeks, and it drove, so much anxiety, worried that I was going to lose it, worried that she was somehow going to find it. Not that she goes into my things ever, but if I was here, go get me some chapstick, I put it in a thing, and I was please don't see that, because it was in a little bag, and I just felt like it was somewhat suspect. A little velvet black bag in a tiny little pocket, sealed away. I was just no. Rewind a little bit, because I was talking ring stuff. I reached out to a good friend of mine who'd composed the Halim Shiral music for me as well, and was hey, this is what I'm planning. Let me know how much I'll owe you. Let's do this. And then nonchalantly, I brought up, much later than when I had poked him, I think I poked him in March. And I think it was April 1st or 2nd that I posed Angelique of hey, so I've reached out to Nathan to compose that song, assuming he gets it to me by end of April. April was also really busy for us, if you remember. Assuming I get it by end of April, maybe give myself all of May to record it just in case. Maybe we could start planning to record the video that first weekend in June. And she was yeah, that seems reasonable. And I was okay. All right, so June 1st is the Saturday and June 2nd is that Sunday. Let's try to aim for June 2nd, because then we have June 1st to do all of our prep that we need to do. And I'm very proud of how nonchalant I was about this, because I made it sound so logical, and it just, I was so lucky that June 2nd landed on a Sunday.
This is the difficult location that we're going to, right?
Yes, I think so. Wait, I don't know. I just thought it was the same thing. Am I not? Is it not?
I thought we were doing that hill thing.
I don't know where Landon is.
Do you want me to call Angelique?
Yeah, I don't have
if dropping you guys here, if there's a different place, then I'm gonna feel like an asshole.
Can't reach my lightsaber.
Because I don't see him.
Hey, Kiri. Look back.
Hey, Kiri, I have a question really quick.
Yes. Oh, look
Yes,
at you being
guys.
so pretty. No, you can't hide from me. The camera gets everywhere.
Yeah, didn't you say we're done with this location until the afternoon?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know what the other one is.
We're trying to find the location of the shoot.
Hang on 1 second.
We're so prepared. So we were driving to the wrong location.
My right side is really cool.
Luckily, they're all really close to each other.
And my left side's fucking roast.
Let's go!
Oh shit. Someone is super excited for this.
I'm super excited. I'm just all a little scared. I can't wait.
Oh, okay.
Come up here.
Who is it? Which character is that?
It's the beautiful princess who is actually an old lady by that point, or beautiful enchantress.
And this base.
Am I gonna be on TV?
Yes, you will be, honey.
This is a good tray, right?
Oh, look at that old world hopper.
Hi.
Oh, so cute. Hello.
Some very
not
upset
good, you just
rooster
have to
is
deal
just not having it.
No, clearly.
This is why I was never into cock.
We're just gonna leave.
Wait, what'd you say?
Nope.
I thought I heard it right.
Nope.
Good. Here's our kingly table. So majestic. You know, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Green man, coming to me in my dreams. Green man.
And the glasses just make it, really. Put it all together.
Hashtag king bitch.
Hashtag king life.
Alright.
Let us go adventuring.
Hashtag divine right.
But
Oh, look at our director. Well, director and cinematographer. You want to say hi to the camera, Landon?
Hi, camera.
Damn. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Ah. You know when people say these boots were not made for walking, those are my boots. Okay. We're all trying our best. You look like you belong here. TBH.
okay, I'm just gonna. Do you mind if I put myself on the table just so I can get rest really quick? Okay.
Hey, adventurers. Yes, perfect.
Are you filming or taking photos? Are you filming or taking photos?
I'm filming, but it was a beautiful moment of all of them turning around at the same time. Hi.
I have fake wine.
Is it fake though? Oh.
Pomegranate blueberry plus.
That plus is where the alcohol comes from.
Yeah, it's fermented.
Yeah, I did set your camera for other videos.
Or something. Oh yeah, because the real word is like face. So yeah, so one of us has to be the good guy, one of us has to be bad.
After this,
Shut up, wait for the plan.
Like natural
Cool. It's a time of faction spreading.
Just don't tell her to post. But yeah, she can take
Because I was
pictures.
trying to think of Shannon's arguments against it right now, and I'm like,
They have like legit.
Hey guys, how are we all doing?
Good.
Good. How are you guys?
hey! Hey!
Oh my God, is that real wine?
Fire.
Yep. Yes. There's more in there if you want some.
Oh God.
Chrissy.
It was so sad.
Fell down. That was great.
It went my heart. My savior. Oh my god. Oh no, I missed the scritching. Oh.
Oh, it's empty. I'm going home.
Aren't you home? Isn't this your home?
Yeah, I remember.
Itchy!
Oh my god, I'm coming. Type up this thing. Let me think about some more stuff.
Oh no. Oh no, the director's on the loose. Oh no. Catch her!
Does Angelique look dashing?
Like Han Solo.
I mean,
Yes.
Look like Han Solo.
Angelique, come in here. We need to show
Angelique!
show the audience how dashing you are.
We need to show off your outfit because you are Han Solo.
Look how fucking dashing.
That is the best description of you as dashing.
You're dashing.
Yes. Oh.
I knew you shot first.
She dashes.
Do the hair thing. Do the hair thing.
what is this?
My heart.
Oh.
Hurts me. On a deep and personal.
I also think that we kind of killed a cinematographer over there.
Just a little.
Yeah. You over-relaxed him with that massage.
Damn it. It was all my fault.
Killed us all.
Did you tap it or you? I want to
It was all crazy. My friend Nicole was fantastic on wrangling food, and that was so. Oh, and you guys were amazing, helping me raise funds for props and all that jazz. And it was so great. It was so great. Oh my goodness. And so we do all of the scenes. We're getting kind of tired and awesome, and then we do dinner. And Angelique's like, if everyone wants to go, they can. You're released. No, but everyone knows the final scene we're filming is the one where I'm proposing to her. So they're like, no, we're gonna see this through. So they all like sit up on the stairs opposite of where we're gonna be doing this, and we were getting all set up. And my friend Landon, who is our amazing DP, when he had his audio rolling, he was gonna tell me, you know, talk amongst yourselves, and that was my cue.
You could always just flip until you found it.
Yeah. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves while you're doing this. I'm just camera testing.
Herpada derpada. What do you do?
Peas and
I'm making a
Peas and
flip
carrots.
Peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots.
Ooh, I have a pretty bookmark.
No, I just if that's the one
Yeah, I have a pretty bookmark too.
It's a Michael's receipt, but it's.
I want to see what it looks like.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Aww. So my friend Bethany was in town, and she did a cute little drawing of just Angelique and Kiri forever and flowers.
Aww.
Which is actually really funny. Okay, so. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I am tall enough for this.
It's actually. Can you hold that for me? It's kind of funny that we're filming this today. I'm realizing.
Hi.
Do you know what June 2nd is?
What?
So 1 year ago today, we were talking just on your bed.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me we were in the habit of telling each other like the insecure voice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a year ago today, you told me you'll probably just be sick of me a year from now. And I actually made a little note in my phone that I would tell you I'm madly in love with you today.
What?
Maybe. And it's really appropriate that we're having this today as this show, or this, we're filming this song today because frankly, really the best story I could ever tell is one where I'm growing old with you. Angelique Rockwood, will you marry me?
Yes.
About this, and
Okay, let's film the final scene. Back to work, everybody.
Does that work for a lead-in for you? Oh, God. Does that work as a lead-in? We get together.
Are we in character now?
I love you so much. Yes, yes. Fucking yes. I love you. No. Yeah, that was pretty. That was great.
Well done. Thanks for setting the standard impossibly high if any of us ever proposed to. Fuck you.
I love you, but also in the spirit of being an asshole. Since I said you get to do the same thing if you want. Top that, motherfucker!
Hey, I got you.
Yes. Oh God! He is so Bruce. All right. It's been a crazy journey to get here. I am so blessed with all the amazing people who helped me, including my friend Bethany, who helped me ink the inside of that book in time, which was a huge cause of my stress. And she'd come down just to help me out. Love her. She wasn't able to actually be at the shoot because she went to a family member's birthday. And it was just, it was so great. It was so great. And as you can see, I challenged Anjali to try and top that because I'm a jerk if she really wants to do her own proposal because we're untraditional like that. I've been wearing an obsidian ring, which is just a ring I have on my ring finger just because it feels really weird to not have something there. Like, it was a very bizarre realization of kind of feeling bad for traditional couples because when I slipped the ring on, it felt so right. It was lovely and amazing. And then for like the 2 days after, I realized I'm engaged, but I don't have anything there to like look at in the same way. And it was just, it felt bare. And then she felt very bad about that. I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. I don't want you to rush anything with that, and I don't want you to like do anything that's gonna cost you more money or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. It's not about that. It was just the realization of, in more traditional couple settings, like that's not a thing you'd have. And our engagement rings are also going to be our wedding rings because we don't see the point in doing both. That's the start of this crazy adventure that I'm about to go on in the next year. We're trying to shoot for next fall because while I really want this to be something that we can take our time on, and I'm hoping a little over a year is enough time, and because we want to take our time, we also want to make sure we're not having the rush tax, so much money, oh my goodness. So we're trying to find the good and cheap route, rather than fast and cheap, because I want it to be good, but I still want it to be relatively inexpensive if we can manage it. But as you know, my dad suffers from frontal temporal dementia, and that is not a very kind disease. It shortens things a lot, and while I don't want that to be the objective, like we're rushing to beat whenever that possibly, I want my dad to be there, obviously, but I don't want that to be such the main story that we do things that we regret or feel bad about because we're like, oh, I wish we hadn't rushed that. So I'm gonna probably be taking you on a lot of that journey in the next year because that's gonna be a big part of my life is planning. So here we go, Curios, this is a whole new world for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please give any tips or tricks you know in below. Obviously, don't use the word wedding with anyone you talk to unless you absolutely have to, like the venue or the cake. But then I'm not going to be using it with that because I'm not getting a traditional cake. We're gonna probably do cake pops or maybe cupcakes. So I don't even have to say it to them. But point being, any tips or tricks you have, please like, subscribe, share for love, and know that I will see you later.
Look. You will understand when you have to do this.
You know I know.